Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be testing the MossyOak survival knife. Here's a big list of disclaimers because I get this every time. Some of the highlights of it are that this is not a hate video. This is just simply torture testing this blade to see how well it holds up. As I've done in the past, after I finish this testing of this particular blade, I will then forge my version of it to show some of the improvements that I would make. So, first of all, the sheath is fine, not bad. Simple nylon with the Kydex core. And they included a little pouch for those ferro rods and the sharpener with the whistles that don't work, by the way. But now let's take a look at the blade. The overall design is just fine. I like it quite a bit. Though right out of the box, there's some odd scuffing or whatever you want to call this. Whatever, that's fine. That's just a simple aesthetic problem, but yeah, overall, I approve of the design. Now let's look at the sawback. Unfortunately, it has a fatal flaw in that the teeth are thinner than the blade itself, which limits how deep the saw blade can function. Also, it's not sharpened at all. So we'll see how that holds up. The balance is a little forward heavy for what I would like. I say that only because of the thinness of the blade. I expected it to be a little more balanced towards the hand, which means I don't know, it's not that big of a deal, but it affects the wieldability a little bit. But already the big problem I see is this. Right out of the box, there is some serious gapping between the handle, the blade, and the guard. It actually wiggles just by pushing on it. And I got to be honest with you, that is a huge safety concern. That just means that it can break very easily because it's not right and tight, and it can take a lot of shock and take a lot of damage. But unfortunately, we're going to still test it. So let's get the preliminary blade cutting capabilities, see how sharp it is. It's not bad. It definitely can cut. But if you look at the paper, it's a bit jagged. So that is to be expected with a cheaper blade like this one. This is definitely on the budget line, so not bad. I'm not going to hold that one up to it too much. But let's now test the strength of the blade. Here it is before, no damage. Let's start with the sawback. And as I said, it is not sharpened at all. So I'm giving it a good shot. Multiple angles, multiple attempts at different parts of this board. And it's literally not doing anything. I'm just rubbing against the wood, which is an issue because it's advertised as a survival knife. This is not a disclaimer. I'm sorry, this is not a display knife according to their advertising. MossyOak says this is their survival knife. And the saw blade simply doesn't work at all. And honestly, that's a little bit disappointing. But if they had at least sharpened it, then you'd get a little bit of function to the thickness of the teeth at least. But especially when we zoom in here, all I did was rub against it. So that is definitely a low rating for the saw. Moving right along, let's test the cutting edge and strength of the blade. Safety first. I got safety glasses on. Yeah, we'll take a couple whacks into this bad boy. I got gloves as well, just in case. We're going to chop all the way through. Now, one of the things that I noticed using this is that the handle bites into your hand quite a bit. But check this out. The gap has gotten significantly larger. That is a huge safety concern. I'm going to keep testing it, but yeah, here we go. It's not looking great already. But the blade starts to try and fly out of your hand, and the sharp little nubbin on the back, that little hook, really digs into your hand, which is, in my opinion, a big flaw. Just in the design. The blade itself, using it against wood, seems to be doing okay. Which is good because really any blade that is marked as a survival blade should be able to hack into some wood. I get comments all the time saying like, oh, they're not supposed to be used on wood, so of course they broke. If it is a survival blade marketed as such, it should be able to whack into some wood, branches, 2x4s, whatever, and essentially take no damage. So that being said, the blade itself held up just fine. Big safety concerns. I can already say that with the gap like that, I cannot, in good conscience, sign off on it, unfortunately. However, we're going to keep testing it. So let's go to the tip. I reiterate, this is a torture test. A survival knife should be able to handle tip torture like this. And the tip broke off. Not just the very tip, but a significant portion of the tip broke off of this blade. So when you look at the grain structure, it seems pretty coarse. Now again, this is a budget line blade. The whole purpose of these videos is to show the difference between a cheap and quote-unquote affordable blade and a high-quality blade. I cannot recommend this blade because numerous safety issues. Now we're going to smack it and see if we can bend it. Again, I understand you're not supposed to do this. That's the point of these videos. It takes a bend, but it doesn't snap. So you turn it around, you hit it again, and it bends back. So I would rather it bend than snap. So now we're testing it in a vise, which is way too much. I know. That's the point. And what's interesting is, when I hit it on the side of the blade, it's the tang that snaps. The reason why? That's a very skinny tang for what they are advertising this as. So, long story short, can I recommend the MossyOak Survival Blade? I cannot. No hate to the brand. Yes, I bought the budget line and I did it. I treated it rough. I understand that, but that's the point of these videos. And the whistle doesn't even work. That bugs me. But this is what you get for cheap. I think this was 30 bucks. I forget exactly. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to forge my own version of it, and we will do the exact same tests just to show how it holds up, and I'll show you all of it so that you know it is all above board, whatever you want to call it. But that's what we got so far. The MossyOak Survival Blade, struggling. Yeah, so tell me in the comments what you guys would like to see. Thank you for watching, etc., etc.